From food to clothing, our government says it cares about having products made in Australia. But apparently getting other countries to help make our secret military weapons is just fine.
We could make munitions, such as bombs.
This kind of industrial capability has been underfunded in Australia for a long time.
We're running out of work and the place will close down.
We have this capability and we should be doing everything possible to preserve it.
What does it mean if this place closes?
It's serious. We will not be able to defend ourselves.
Can you imagine our nation's defence could largely depend on the future of this small factory tucked away in Gosford on the New South Wales Central Coast?
This is a mini version, proportionally correct, to a bomb that's about as tall as us.
Nick Burgess owns Kaiman Forging and Engineering. He's a third-generation blacksmith and skilled at making bomb casings. He dreamed of owning this huge forging hammer that played a crucial role in World War II in France.
It was making very large munitions, barrels, tank barrels and things like that.
The hammer can do the same thing here. It's already performed defence work for our Collins-class submarines.
Mate, it's a bit hot in here.
Very hot, but it's about to get a lot hotter once the furnace doors open and the big hammer starts going.
Nick says this is the only hammer in the Southern Hemisphere capable of producing massive bomb casings for warheads carried by our fighter jets.
A couple of years ago, Defence sought to tap into Nick's knowledge and get him to modify some bomb casings. Now, Nick spent hours on the drawings and got back to Defence with a quote. However, his contact there has moved on, and the replacement told Nick she knew nothing about the project.
Maybe they're not aware of how serious forging is, but I think it's more about saving money.
Meanwhile, Nick's business has been losing money, hit by the Australian manufacturing curse. Work's dried up, and with no defence contract, he'll have to close.
It'll be devastating. This is what I love, this is what I've always done.
It's not only a hit to Nick, but potentially a huge blow to our national security.
What will it mean for the ADF if you close?
If we close down, they're going to lose the capability of Australia making munitions, bombs, artillery shells, tank barrels, cannon barrels and all sorts of components.
That is a serious statement to make.
It's huge.
You know, there are a lot of small to medium enterprises in Australia that are very frustrated with the Defence Department at the moment.
We asked Dr. Marcus Hellier, Head of Research at Strategic Analysis Australia, about Nick's claim that the pending closure of Kaiman Forging and Engineering will leave a giant hole in Australia's defence.
So it's probably not surprising that there's not a lot of companies in Australia that can do those sorts of things, which makes it all the more important to preserve that capability.
Tails Australia is the largest supplier of explosive ordnance to the ADF. But Nick says even Tails asked him if he could make the large bomb casings it's unable to.
I really don't know where the money's going.
Overseas, that's where. Defence does have a couple of working factories, but most munitions are imported. A dangerous wartime strategy, according to expert Dr. Hellier.
The people that you are reliant on may be meeting their own needs, or the supply lines may be cut, and you can't get access to those very vital supplies.
If Nick closes, then assets like his giant hammer could be snapped up by a foreign power.
They wanted to buy our hammer.
Who wanted to buy it?
China. China wanted to buy it for those reasons.
Well, no, it's certainly no surprise at all that the Chinese government and the People's Liberation Army would be interested in those kinds of machines. You know, there's not a lot of those machines in the world. And so, yeah, they're looking around trying to find whatever capacity they can.
Dr. Hellier says our government should subsidise munitions-capable enterprises like Nick's Kaiman Forging and Engineering to stay open, so we're not caught out.
What are you asking for?
Well, naturally, firstly, I'd want my business to keep going, but we can all see the seriousness with what's happening in the world, and without forging being the foundation of defence, you know, it's where it really starts, we're not going to have a way of protecting ourselves.
Defence Minister Richard Marles declined to come on the show, but his office confirmed we import the bomb casings that Nick can make from the United States. But if we already have the capacity to make these components here at a reasonable price, why don't we? Is it really worth the risk?